throw up the X sign if they're hurt. The X sign means that somebody's seriously injured in the ring. And they have to call a match. Referee might have to postpone the match for a second.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Professional wrestling is quite the anomaly of entertainment. It's a sometimes choreographed, sometimes called on the fly form of scripted fighting presented as true competition. There's a lot of secrets in the non-sporting sport designed to feel like a sport, naturally. And while some of them are common knowledge, you will be hard-pressed to see WWE or any other company make a note of these things. I'm Gimmicked from watching WWE, and here's 10 secrets about professional wrestling. Number 10, watch the eyes. The heavy majority of pro wrestling matches end in a pinfall. One wrestler's shoulders are touching the mat while the other one's on top of him doing the pinning. Bop, bop, bop. That's a 3 count. And honestly, here's something that I never, ever noticed. But next time that you see a pinfall, not even the pinfall itself, not even the bop, 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 there's just the attempt, check the eyes of the wrestler being pinned, the one laying flat on their back. A solid percentage of the time, wrestlers are looking directly at the ref to let them know that they're going to be kicking out. And if a wrestler looks like they're completely gone, like their eyes are closed, yeah, they're probably done for the night.
And down to a camel clutch. Why should anybody care if you pull Foley's hair out? Pull his own hair out.
Number 9, referees. I referenced how important refs are to the wrestling match, but honestly, it's so much more than you realize. Many refs are seen as nothing more than, I'm not going to clap 3 times again, but you get the idea. 1, 2, 3 machines, counting for the finish and occasionally flailing on the ropes as Braun Strowman destroys the ring for the 2nd time this decade. In reality, they're essentially the 3rd dance partner at the trio's tango, as most wrestling matches are called on the fly, and referees are required to be the bridge between the wrestlers. Ever see a referee shout at your least favorite heel wrestler or give some words of rule to the face? Yeah, they do a pretty damn good job of not sticking out that much, but if you had mics on these boys, you would hear a lot of match structuring called on the fly. And number 8, while we're on the topic, why not, calling spots. Let's just keep the chain going through this list and keep calling back to the last entry. I mentioned wrestlers calling moves on the fly, and to at least a few people here, that's news. Pro wrestlers, contrary to surprisingly popular belief, do not fully plot out their matches beforehand. Some people think that matches are entirely worked out and even potentially practiced beforehand. No. Matches are laid out generally, yeah, with a few big notable spots, the impressive moves, a couple fun sequences, but the rest is completely called on the fly 9 times out of 10. The refs are playing a big role in helping pass along that information, but generally, wrestlers are able to pretty quietly tell their opponents the next spot in a match and just do it. Number 7, commercials. There's a weird phenomenon in wrestling's history where people were really positive that, like, during the commercial, wrestling just stopped. Like, they just stood there in the ring. Like, what? I don't get this. I don't know how it started. I don't know where it came from. The logic just does not add up to me in the slightest. Why would a television show stopping temporarily halt the wrestlers inside of the ring who aren't paying attention to anything TV related? I don't know, man. It always just felt like a weird rumor that just kept going in circles, and for some reason that circles included the routes of every wrestling fan because it wouldn't go away. But then Vincent Kennedy McMahon happened, and he said, hey, wrestlers, when the commercials hit, just stand there for a bit. Like, just stop wrestling. Like, this really happened. An old wrestling folklore tale essentially became reality for about a month, because Vince McMahon wanted to make changes. Number 6, plants. All right. I know this isn't going to be news to many, but pro wrestling is fake. I know. Now hear this part. R-Truth was definitely paid off.
Gronk, think twice about this. And here's security trying to get Gronk back into the crowd.
Number 5, weapons. Pro wrestling is a lot of fun. You want to make fake fights even more fun? Throw some toys into the encounter. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I've got some bad bad news. Welcome back, Stu Bennett. But pretty much every single weapon in pro wrestling is gimmicked to some extent, i.e. fake. Those steel ladders you see wrestlers flying through that somehow manage to buckle in half, yeah, those are made of weak wood. The steel steps that Michael Cole insists are 400 pounds, they are literally hollow on the bottom. That time Triple H smashed Big Show on the back of the neck with a sledgehammer? Yeah, that wouldn't have gone so well with the real tool. There's a few that are legit. Steel chairs are true steel and just take some practicing learning how to be hit properly, while tables are, like, sort of anti-weapons? Like, you ever see a movie and a dude falls in a pile of boxes? Yeah, that's essentially tables. It just breaks their fall a little bit. I'm unfortunately positive that thumbtacks are legit, though, and I'll say it right now, knowing damn well that there's a chance Mick Foley is the answer to this, but on behalf of backs worldwide, whoever introduced thumbtacks to pro wrestling. Number 4, blading. When the weapons come out, the crimson gets flowing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, by all accounts, we still live in a PG era of WWE, but wrestling is fighting, and you can't get into more 3 of those things without seeing a little bit of red. And to produce said red, you either got hard way, i.e. getting beat so badly you legitimately bleed, ow, and then you've got blading, i.e. using a small sharp object to artificially get the blood out the body. Oddly enough, the intentional cutting of one's skin is the more fun option in this deadly game of choice.
And there's striking a dead cobra.
Number 3, the hard camera. Might seem obvious, but have you ever taken the time to realize just how every single thing in WWE is based around the hard camera, i.e. the stable camera, the one positioned in the crowd that's probably most frequently cut to? Wrestler taunts, your big spots, promo segments, pretty much every segment, anything you can name, if it's happening inside of a professional wrestling ring, it is more than likely being geared to take place for the biggest camera possible.
Oh, no! Toe slam! The cover! Look at this! Look at this! They're stacked up like cordwood!
Number 2, the X. The referee X has an odd history that sort of muddled things up and made its true meaning a bit confusing. So for the longest time, the big X held up with a referee's crossed arms meant a true injury has taken place. It's to let the boys in the back and the production staff know someone is legitimately hurt out here and that the current match is going to be called off. And that's fine. In fact, it's a good thing to have until WWE started with it and using the X in storylines. If I recall correctly, both Finn Balor and Cesaro had the X thrown up despite not being truly injured. But then in 2015 to 16, when like half of the roster started racking up injuries, WWE was like, hey, we can't keep doing this, and they just stopped. They just stopped messing with the X, so that like it's okay, so basically the X means exactly what the X is supposed to mean, but because WWE mixed reality and kayfabe, like, people are confused. WWE, why do you do this to people? So listen, just if you're watching a match, say a little prayer that you never witness this X live, but if you do, I am now almost positive that it means you just saw someone lose a little bit of their careers.
Throw up the X sign if they're hurt. The X sign means that somebody's seriously injured in the ring. They have to call a match. Referee might have to postpone the match for a second.
And number 1, just how bad it can be to be a professional wrestler. This is nothing on WWE. I could go on for a little while on the ins and outs and issues of this company. I mean, Vince McMahon just banned partnering with third parties. Twitch, Cameo, YouTube, all down the drain. It's not going to be a very happy note to end on, especially being prefaced by the sign for legit injury. But WWE is far from shedding light on just how damaging it can be just to professionally wrestle in and of itself. It's far from every case, and the style you work definitely plays a role, but it's hard not to look to the past. Guys like Chris Benoit doing the flying headbutt, seeing what happened with him, then watching years of Daniel Bryan repeating the exact same maneuver, very nearly losing his career forever, getting it back, and yeah, he avoids that specific move, but still, like, willing to do neck and head spots. It's genuinely terrifying at times, and an unfortunate reminder that while in kayfabe these are invincible superstars, in real life, They're human, and they're just as prone to death and destruction and demise as the rest of us. And the fact that they do this for a living might actually make them a bit more susceptible. And those are 10 secrets WWE doesn't want you to find out. What are your thoughts? Listen on the comments down below. After liking the video, subscribe to the channel, notifications, and that bell.